Over the past 3 years, I've worked across player development, recruiting, placement, and building football programs in 3 different continents: Europe, North America, and Asia. I've also worked as an agent, helping place players across different countries. And the one thing I've learned that I didn't understand when I started, the thing that decided whether clubs worked, whether players developed, whether the staff stayed, it wasn't strategy, it wasn't talent, it wasn't budget, it was culture. And I used to think culture was a soft thing. The poster on the wall, the team building exercises, the vibes, and I was wrong. Culture is the most expensive thing you'll ever underestimate. So in this video, I'll go through what I've actually learned about building culture in a football club and how it applies to building any team in business. So here's the definition I work with now after getting it wrong for 3 years. Culture is how your team behaves when you're not in the room. That's it. It's not the values you print on the wall. It's not the t-shirts. It's not the founder's speech at the start of the year. It's what your players do, and it's what your staff say, how decisions get made when leadership isn't watching. In year 1, I thought culture was something that we could declare. I'd write down what I wanted the club to be about, I'd tell the players, I'd repeat it in meetings, and I thought I was building culture, but I wasn't. That was just marketing. Real culture is built in 1,000 small moments. How you respond when a player misses training, how you handle a staff member who underperforms, who you promote and who you let go, who you give the benefit of the doubt to, and more importantly, who you don't. Every one of those decisions is a culture decision. Players watch, staff watch, they learn what's acceptable and they learn what you tolerate, not from what you say, but by what you do. The standard you walk past is the standard that you accept. If you walk past a player being late and don't address it, you've just told the whole team that that's fine. If you walk past a staff member talking down to someone and you don't address it, you've just told the whole team that talking down to someone is acceptable here. So let me give you a specific example, one that cost me a lot of money. In year 1, we had a staff member who was a very good coach, but the way they spoke to other people on the team, to junior staff, to players, to the people they thought were below them, was bad. Not bad enough that any one moment was a fireable offence, but consistently bad. And I let it slide. Because they were good at their job, and because I thought firing them at that time felt expensive, because I told myself the rest of the team could handle it. And within 6 months, we had 2 players quit, and another coach had asked to leave. And they all said the same thing on the way out. They didn't want to be around that person. So the person I kept to save money and to make it easier and just figure it out cost me 3 people that I really needed. And that's culture. So here are the principles now that I build culture around, and there's 5 of them. 1. Hire and fire on attitude, not skill. Skill gets you in the door, but the behavior decides whether you stay. You can train a slow learner into a good contributor. You cannot train a bad attitude into a good culture fit. And hiring is a really difficult thing that honestly is one big skill in itself. I've learned when hiring is to work on energy and to make it very clear when you're interviewing the person, what do you stand for? What are your goals? What are your missions? And where do you see yourself in 5 years? You want people that are hungry and A players. And it's a skill to find out who's an A player in the hiring process. One that I'm still learning, but one that I'm getting better at. The second principle is leadership. And leadership behavior sets the ceiling. Whatever the founder does, the staff do worse. Whatever the staff do, the players do worse. If I show up tired, half present, distracted, I cannot ask the team to show up sharp. Culture flows downhill from leadership. There's no other shape it can have. And another thing too is you don't have to be all the time on top of it, but you have to show you care, you have to be present, and you have to be setting a good example. You don't have to scream and shout, you don't have to be loud, but you have to get respect from your team. And respect isn't given by what you say, but by what you do. The third principle is you need to address things once they happen. The first time someone crosses a line, whether it's a player, a coach, staff member, that's the cheapest the conversation it's ever going to be. The second time, it's harder. And the third time, you've allowed that behavior to become the norm. Then it's a culture problem, not an individual problem. Number 4, culture has to survive when you're not in the room. If you're not the only person enforcing it, the standard, then you don't have a culture. You have a personality cult. And this is quite difficult because personally, I'm traveling a lot. So I'm away from teams, I'm away from people. There's a lot of WhatsApp communication, video call communication. So this is something when you're hiring, when you're building a team, the culture has to be so strong from the start and you have to be consistent with your communication so people get it, they understand. And when you're not there, they're still enforcing the right culture between coaches, staff members, anyone involved in a club or a business. Culture isn't what you do when you're watching, it's what your team does when you're not. And the last principle is to recognize the people that hold the line. There are always 2 or 3 people in the team who carry the culture. They set the tone in the changing room, they model the standard, and they check the new players. Most leaders ignore them because they're not the most visible, but those players are worth more than any star player. Pay them, promote them, tell them, and keep them. The people I almost lost in year 2 because I wasn't paying enough attention to them, they're the people that I'll build the next decade around. And here's the part that most founders don't want to hear. Building culture is slow, painfully slow. It takes years. You don't see the results in weeks. You don't see them in months. You start to see them in the 2nd, 3rd year. When a new player walks in and the existing players show them the standard before you ever have to. That moment is when you know the culture is working. And that moment took me almost 3 full years to see. Most teams give up on building a culture because they want it to happen next week. But if you're a founder 1 year into building a team and the culture isn't where you want it, you're probably on track. Culture isn't a quarter end deliverable. It's the longest, slowest compounding thing in any business. So going forward, here's what I'm trying to do. Build clubs and businesses where the culture is so clear, so consistent, so obvious that the people inside them know exactly how to behave without having me ever to be in the room. Where the standard is set by the team, enforced by the team, and protected by the team. Where new players and new staff feel the culture in their first week, not from a speech, but from how everyone around them carries themselves. Where I can be away on a scouting trip for a month and the culture doesn't shift. That's the bar. That's what I'm building towards. I'm 3 years in, and I'm definitely not there yet, and I'm not pretending that I am, but I know what the destination looks like now. And every decision I make from here is in the service of getting to the destination. If the culture doesn't survive you leaving the room, you haven't built one yet. And listen, building a culture, let me tell you, is really, really difficult. And most of the time, it depends around you as a leader, how you act, how you deliver yourself, and how people respect you. And you need to be consistent, you need to communicate well, you need to show you care a lot, and you really need to love what you do. If you love what you do, if you put in the work, if you show up, if you be consistent, people are going to follow you, people are going to respect you, and people are going to get excited about the direction that you're going in. Recently, we've had a lot of opportunities present themselves. We have really good momentum. There's a lot of exciting things happening. And if you can be consistent, communicate well, be enthusiastic about what you're doing, people are going to buzz off that and people are going to want to be a part of it. And if you're someone involved in a company or a business or a team, in football, in anything in your life, and you're looking up to someone at the top, show them respect, show them effort, ask if they need any help, ask them what their goals are, ask them where they're going, and ask how you can be a part of that, because you want to be that leader on the team that your coach can trust. If you thought this was interesting, if there's any other topics you'd like me to speak about, leave them in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.